Meg. Thank you. You have it?
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
What do you want?
So cell phones off is a ring. Yeah. Yeah. What are we gonna do? Go ahead, Meg.
Okay. Good morning, Meg O'Leary, Big Sky Governance Study. I am here to give you a 45-second update on where we are. And it was good to see many of you last Thursday at the Chamber event, and good job for getting nominated for whatever. What was the nomination?
Sustainability.
Yeah, that was cool. It was good to see. The governance study, we now have our third and final public meeting set for July 22nd at the Wilson. We're trying to figure out if it's going to start at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. There's a public lands event that's going on that we're trying to have them go a little earlier, and we'll go a little later so we can get as many people as possible. At that event, we will be presenting all the results from the community engagement, including the 360 plus survey responses that we have. We'll put that all together nicely and present it and really talk it out and let people respond and ask questions. We'll also have the 3 scenarios that were picked. And the scenarios, you've heard me talk about how the report is going to highlight the facts about 3 different scenarios that the community engagement has driven. And you might remember, as Dick Fast and everybody in the room knows, it's been this topic of future governance has needled and elbowed and made the community curious for 30 years. And incorporation has been the thing that's been the I guess the topic that's elbowed everybody so much. And when it came up about, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, a subcommittee was formed to really investigate where are we right now in the world of future governance. And this subcommittee has helped guide the report. And we engaged with the subcommittee about a month ago to present to them the findings that were the 6 scenarios that I talked about at last month's meeting. And those 6 have now been narrowed down to 3, and that's what will be in the report. So with the help of the subcommittee, we got from 6 to 3. And I'll tell you, the 3 right now, the 3 scenarios are incorporation 1, incorporation 2, and create a county. The other piece of that we're trying to figure out is, does the current form of government that's of interest for many people in the community, how are we going to incorporate that into the study? We already have the executive summary that shows what the baseline is. That's been the work that's been going on since last September. So we're trying to figure out if there will actually be 4 scenarios in the report, I guess is the point there. And come July 22nd, and you'll get a really great taste of what's been going on. I think the other important thing to know is we have a fiscal analysis team, as you know, and the 3 scenarios will line up what the fiscal impact will be for each of us, for community members. So the property tax piece will also be in the report. So it's kind of vague right now. To what I'm telling you is a little bit vague because we're still working on the details, and that's where July 22nd is going to be pretty key for the community to hear. And that's our update.
Thank you, Meg. Any questions? Meg, you said July 22nd, which is the day after our next board meeting. Do you have a time on that, Alicia?
Yeah, we think it'll be at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., maybe 5:30, just depending on that public lands event.
Great. Thank you, Meg.
Okay. Appreciate the opportunity to come in remote.
Yep, anytime. Great. Think you have that in your calendar? Just double check.
Where is that at? At the Wilson.
All right, any other public comment? Chad Wilson, I see your hand up.
That's me.
Oh, sorry, Chad. That was Johnny's hand on Chad Wilson. All right, any public comment, call the regular meeting to order, go into conflict of interest declarations. Peter?
None.
Al?
None. None.
Shrop, you got any conflicts today?
Sir?
No conflict of
Conflict
of interest?
No,
I didn't think so, but I have
no conflict of interest. Can't hear anyway.
All right, we'll make a note of that. Jerry? All right, none. So great. We'll get into the meeting. Johnny, you had an update on the election of officers.
After discussion, I want to table the election of officers. This is something that usually happens every year. So they're 1 year terms. But from the subcommittee or from our work session, I had mentioned some changes that I wanted to make to the subcommittee. And I got to polish off that. So I think it would be fitting to do the election of officers next month, and then also a reassignment of the actual committees that we're going to have moving forward.
And the good news is your retirement, a lot of committees. Hey, we don't have a BSWA pond anymore, but we've got the site this year. Capital improvements plan.
Budget committee, policy and procedure. So this last year, the policy and procedure committee moved into the budget CIP committee, then moved back into the review portion of it. So that's kind of the core, in those few months. And then we have one outlier, which is the Flatiron committee. And then our big joint committee, which is the King and district committee. So,
But I'm thinking about retiring the committees. Yeah, the Spanish Peaks.
It's done.
I don't know which was, I know it was longer, the Spanish Peaks, but I think the BSWA pond was more painful. The holidays. So
It was short and intense. Spanish
2
Peak.
years I don't consider short, okay?
Compared to Spanish Peak.
Yeah.
So I just want everybody to reflect on that, how productive that's been. And it's been in Johnny's tenure, and it's just something that, looking back at it, we're hoping to get to a situation where we dial in these committees where they're really, again, relevant. They're tight, they're dovetailing well with the trustee seats and be as productive as possible. So everyone think about that between now and the next meeting and say, what's the best fit for you with time, schedule, and either subcommittee or position you'd like to see. So it gives us a month. Okay, we'll go into the consent agenda. Always open the door for.
No surprises.
Terry?
Everything is moving along according to budget, so
Okay. You sure no surprises?
I'm sure.
Okay. If everyone's had a chance to review the consent agenda minutes, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second, please.
Second.
With Al, as a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Puts us right into business action items. Johnny, you want to talk about maybe some of the things that have happened since the last meeting, and then we'll get right into the action items.
So on the docket today, you have in front of you the resolution 2501 to approve the proposed rate structure for 25-27. And then right after that, we have the budget for 25-26. And then we have the MOU that we've been talking about. It actually has signature for the board president and not myself. So this will complete our MOU with the district to move forward with the interlocal agreement, everything that we're doing there. So.
Okay, we'll take them one by one then. Any questions, comments on the 25-27 rate structure, which rolls you over?
Yeah, well, we went through, we had the rate hearing last month. As a result of the rate hearings, there were no changes to the proposed rate structure, which includes a 10% increase on the sewer base rate, a 3% increase on the sewer variable charge, a 5% increase on the water base rate, and a 5% increase on the water variable rate. And then the underlying vacant lot charges go in line with what the sewer and water rate increases were. So no change, and the revenues based on those rates are in the budget that you will see next.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Can I ask a question before we?
Sure.
Do we receive any public feedback post last meeting?
No, we did not. We had one email, message. I think you guys all saw that and such. That was it.
We had a couple of attendees last month, right?
We didn't,
Okay, so
but did actually have feedback in the meeting.
that was productive.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. No news is good news. All right, any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to on the 25-27.
I'll motion to approve resolution 25-01.
Second, Mike Wilcynski. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried unanimously. Now, adopt 25-26 budget. Jerry?
Yes, again, at last month's meeting, we went through the budget. The budget that was presented, there were just some minor tweaks to it. Additional 1% was added to the revenues, 25,000 on both sides, water and sewer, based on a little deeper analysis and a little more data from this previous year. We added some minor charges for the sewer side, about 7,300. There were some final numbers that we received on our software that we've been searching for, and other than that, it's the same as what was presented. I can go through the numbers if you want, but it's.
Would you do that?
Right. Yeah. No, okay. On the operating revenues, from our budget last year, we're up 11%. The total office and general administrative expense is down about 2.25%. Sewer operations expense is up 10%. Water operations expense is down approximately 12%. Total operating expenses are right in line with what we spent last year. So our operating loss last year was approximately $2.5 million. This next year, we're estimating approximately $2 million. On the non-operating side, it's for the revenue, it's right on target with last year. Non-operating expenses are down about 15%, and that's just interest costs are going down with respect to a few of our items. Total non-operating revenue is up about 8.5%, and our net income is up about $875,000.
Thank you.
Any questions for Terry? Comments?
Where's the legal tracking compared to last year?
We're up significantly from last year.
600,000.
Yeah.
Drop it in the bucket.
You only budgeted 200 for each guy, you know, I might be in the same position because it's for the 0.9.
Yeah, I think,
You'll definitely be.
so last year, or this year, we're at 825,000 so far. Last year was about 600.
If the budget was 200, so
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
variance
yeah.
was 6 as well.
Yeah, oh, okay, yeah.
Something like that.
We're hoping next year will be better than this year.
But the budget for this year that we're looking at right now is only 200.
205 total.
Again, why did we, I mean, we know,
Well, we don't know what we're gonna spend next year.
we have a pretty good trend line on it. That's the only reason I asked is we know we're carrying, we're carrying 3 accounts now for legal fees. And it can only grow, really. Just a question.
Well, my thought process is we budgeted for our normal legal activities, not the extracurricular, which is actually coming out of our reserves.
It's just something to think about
Yeah,
until we can reverse this trend. That's all. So it's good to know. I mean, these numbers are staggering, but we've addressed that in past meetings, so.
Is that insurance policy we picked up covering anything?
we haven't heard back from our insurance carrier with respect to the latest lawsuit.
Okay.
Uh,
Previous ones were not covered?
No,
No.
Previous ones occurred before we had the policy.
Before we have the
Yeah.
policy, so this
Hoping
was,
to get an accident covered and
Yeah.
insurance for that.
this will be the first test of.
well, actually, we were insured before, but it was the nature of the lawsuit.
Yeah.
That
Was
was
not
the reason why it wasn't covered. This new lawsuit is a different type of lawsuit. It's not a Clean Water Act lawsuit. And we do have a different insurance carrier this time, and they're still reviewing it, so we'll see.
Prepare your questions for the legal report that we have coming up under old business too. Be good timing to discuss this.
Just to follow up on the number though. It's a guess. I mean, there's no way to pin down what could or couldn't happen. So. I think what we've done is stuck with the number we've
Yeah.
plugged in there for.
So you can see the delta every year growing rather than try to chase it and say, well, we were out of budget. So it probably is better just to have one number and say, this is the growth pattern on above. It's just hard to take. That's all. Okay.
Terry, how do you explain to a non-financial person like me the losses, the operating loss of 2 million, 2 million this year, 2 million next year? How are those covered? How do we cover it?
Well, our depreciation expense is about 2.5 million. And as a result, that's a non-cash item.
Okay.
So on a cash flow basis, we're still net positive marginal.
Okay. When you take away the depreciation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or said another way, Dick, we're not currently able to save for future replacement of assets.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're recovering what's happening now. In the ideal world, through the depreciation, we're saving for the replacement of future assets when it comes to, we're not covering that right now, but we're working toward it in our budget with some of the decisions we've been talking about. You know, obviously the way to do that is to increase revenues or increase your customer base or reduce your expenses.
Okay. That was helpful. Thank you.
And the board, the committee, the budget committee chose to ease our way into the rates rather than drop a huge rate increase immediately.
That's a good summary.
Yeah.
Appreciation.
Thanks.
So then again, the goal of that would be to expand the customer base in that process so we can spread those increases over a larger customer base as well.
Any other questions, comments on the 25, 26 budgets? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the 25-26 budget.
Second by Peter. Questions, additional, anything? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay, approved president to sign Gallatin Canyon Water Sewer District and Power District MOU.
motion to approve and sign the document.
Okay. Don't want to be signing. Okay, then don't have authority. Okay, second. Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously again. We are on a tear with this meeting. Committee reports, I think we covered that pretty well. Again, this is a positive to retire a few of these. Accomplished a lot. Be thinking about next month. Puts us in the meat of the agenda now. It's a little choppy here that folks will have to leave and come back, and then leave again. For this part of it. I'm just thinking, is there anything, get the old business, general manager review projects? Is there anything we could shuffle that would make it more
We can,
efficient for the attendees? You see what I mean? We could,
the 82S and Canyon updates would be really quick.
I think if we could push those up and then we'd kind of open it back up for comments or anything you had in case of something that you were here for that you were waiting on. And then we would go into closed session for both of those items. Great. So it's, I'm going to actually entertain a motion to move projects for 82S and Canyon Water and Sewer District with Mace up to ahead of the legal.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? So this is hopefully, so we'll get through this and then hate to have it, but everybody has to leave and want to come back later to talk about Shrop's recognition, feel free to, but hopefully it'll save you a little time.
Could we move that in front of the closed session too, so we have, make sure we have people here?
But then Harlan would have to pick them up and drop them off twice, but that's okay.
Like,
Well, we would do Shrop's recognition and then, well, if he's all set, then he would probably be able to leave with Harlan then. I'm just thinking if you want to sit to the legal side.
Oh, she'd have to come twice.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Chris wouldn't mind. What do you think? How do you want to do this?
options again.
Options again are, we would move Shrop up with the projects review. So that it would pretty much go into legal to end the, and Johnny to end the meeting. What do you want to do?
Makes sense.
So move Shrop up. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Shrop, we're gonna go over the project reports. I'm gonna go into your recognition. And
We'll get, will Harlan have enough time to get here?
you bet. We're gonna probably contact her right now. Isn't that right, Amy?
Yes.
Okay, we got it. She's got the number.
She's eating her breakfast.
I looked at, she's got the car turned off already. So. This is gonna be a record meeting. We better spend a lot of time recognizing you. Okay, well, let's get into the, that said, we've all approved moving this up. And let's get into the 82S update. Scott or Scott's replacement, that is. Welcome.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Ryan Thompson, those of you that don't know me.
Would you like to sit at that table, please, just so that people can hear you online?
Yeah. I'm Ryan Thompson, project engineer with A2S. I work closely with Scott on a handful of these projects. Behind me is Dave Swan. He's a new hire at A2S, a project manager. Yeah, some familiar faces, hopefully. Get into it here. So I do work on a handful of these projects, process a couple of these projects I'm a little hands off. So if you do have any questions, just let me know and we'll get you answers. We're a water resource recovery post-construction warranty period. Sounds like Zach Freeling was up here a handful of times last week conducting phase 2 leak tests. Those are going pretty well, almost nearly complete. RCI is working on getting the splitter box passed. We anticipate that to be completed within the week. Punch list items 60% complete. Cleanup items, that sort of stuff. Project is very close to being done. Final payments are being released to RCI. Pond cleanout 2 going well. Don't know too much about this project, but I do know Adam might have more to say about that. Sounds like it's going well from Scott's report here. Moving on to the centrifuge procurement, sounds like there was a meeting on July 4th to review installation plans and project goals, outline some of the near-term objectives, including redundancy improvements and scheduling a visit with Charter Machine Company to evaluate the belt filter press for rehab. Moving on, other projects in progress.
That was a meeting on June 4th, did you say?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Moving on to other projects, wastewater facility plan, this has been put on hold until we figure out how to move forward. Reuse pumping station, the property easements are ongoing. We recently received our Mylar copy. I took that to the Gallatin County Treasurer last week for a signature. Yesterday for a signature. We will work on getting that submitted hopefully by the end of the week and moving forward with that. Irrigation pump station, James is working to incorporate SCADA. Monitoring controls at the IPS, Gallatin County Water and Sewer Collection and Disposal. We are still working with DEQ, or we recently submitted our deviation request to DEQ for deviation from horizontal piping alignments along that stretch of Highway 64, very narrow along the cliff face in the river. We received feedback on our deviation, we made some updates and we sent that back last week, so hopefully we'll hear soon on how they feel about that and the temperature, but overall we feel pretty confident in that part. Future engagement with Forest Service and MDT is pending our geotechnical investigation, which was completed on May 19th, I believe. TD&H is putting together that report and we'll have that shortly and hopefully have MDT's opinions on the matter. Moving forward, design progress, we've completed our 60% design. We've sent that over to Johnny and his team to review, and then we're going to be working forward with GCCM procurement with WGM's request for proposals nearly ready for advertisement. Lift station and land acquisition for the lift stations. The second lift station is located on the USF Forest Service site. Tasks will mostly just include coordinating with adjacent landowners for access and working with the Forest Service on permitting for their sake, but we don't see any major hiccups with Forest Service. MDT is going to be big hurdle there. Moving forward, Mace and WGM can provide a report for the groundwater discharge and permitting challenges we're facing in the canyon. Water master plan. I met with Rose last week to get the download of all the GIS data. We are taking that in and slowly adding it to our model and updating as we get that data kind of, for back of what a word, mind and go through it. Rate study. I think Ryan Graff could maybe contribute more to this conversation, but it sounds like rates are set as the board looks for full adoption. Expect those to come before the full board later this summer. Big Sky Snowmaking, Tip Ted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, the board clearly you set rates and finalized that today. What that's just to clarify on that though, that Amy and I are working through final recommendations on the pick and sick, and so we're gonna keep working a little bit on that, and then after kind of further staff review with Johnny and we'll bring them back, I think probably July, but maybe August. Is that right, Amy?
Yes, that's correct.
Thanks, Ryan. So the snowmaking program, Tip Ted for the district the Tip Ted district we're working on for that is put on hold right now. Salinity reduction plan and services. Drafted an informal document for salinity reduction. Sorry, I did some of these projects I'm a little hands off on.
You guys did draft that. Lindsay and I made a request just because we're already fielding questions about water softeners and what the direction for the district is. So we asked for more information and we're putting together our bullet points just for us and our crew here so that we are educated ourselves. They came back, we're just gonna finalize that and then we'll put together a communication plan.
District Engineering Services, we held a reuse management stakeholder meeting with Lone Mountain Land and Boyne on June 2nd. We foresee having those meetings, I believe it was monthly, to identify more reuse strategies and move forward with that in a productive way. And we've started some very high level possibilities for firefighting, suppression, and fire suppression with reuse mains, very high level cost estimates, land planning, that sort of stuff. Attached to Scott's letter here is also a matrix of our current ongoing projects, along with budgets, descriptions of the projects. Yeah, very comprehensive view of kind of everything that's going on. So I apologize again if some of these weren't as detailed as maybe Scott delivers usually, but please let me know if you have any questions and we can get them answered. Thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the drive up. Okay, do we have Mace?
Mace was online.
Yeah, you guys hear me all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'll build off of that a little bit. The joint committee met yesterday. Primary, I guess, topic of discussion for a good 30-45 minutes of that was revisiting the TED TIF. The Canyon District is advancing all those documents, and it's ultimately key to affordability as it relates to, we'll say, trying to get all the way to the school and get Ramshorn connected. I anticipate new development, basically game to connect at kind of our current pricing model, but as you extend as far south as the school, it starts to be an affordability challenge. And so that was really an emphasis of, we got to push that hard and fast and get the county commissioners on board. There's a potential that the project stalls if we can't get that in place. And then another focus of that joint committee meeting was the RFQ for contractor procurement that is in basically final form. I've ran through it with Johnny. AE2S and WGM are good with it. And the joint committee reviewed that language. So that's ready to hit the streets. And it's a two-step process, quals based, get a field of contractors that we're curious about, and then it goes into a RFP phase where it's technical scoring by a committee and selecting that contractor for a 60 to 90% design refinement and pricing and advancing the project. And then in parallel to that RFQ process is a RFP for the independent cost estimator. That's a third party that is kind of our gut check throughout this process. So that proposed RF request for proposal is also ready to hit the street. I'll be presenting that to the Canyon board tomorrow, anticipating they'll give the go ahead to post. And so we'll get those quals and proposals coming in the door throughout the coming month. And then on the discharge side, WGM has done an update to its analysis based on MBMG's study. Everything's landing in the ballpark of where we landed before using their assumptions. So we're going to meet with DEQ next week to say, here's what we're seeing. Do you got any concerns, anything new that you need from us? And should have a report back to the group for next month's meeting on groundwater discharge status. So that covers, I say, the three high points on my mind, and yeah, happy to answer questions.
Good recap, Mace. Anything? All right.
Brian, before we move on from that, and it's not a question for Mace, but a lot of our discussion yesterday and that meeting had to do with phase 2 and when different elements are coming on board. As I was thinking about it last night, I wonder if that should be a topic of discussion for our next board meeting, to just really talk through that and understand if this, then that, what triggers the phase 2, where are we with our SFE, I'll call it inventory, versus who's connected, what obligations we have, is there a gap, and if so, how much? Just to kind of refresh that discussion.
Absolutely. I think it's a great agenda item, and here's the key. We have to reconcile, quote, the surplus. obligations or capacity versus commitment. What do we have for capacity commitment? And you have one thing that's a little difficult, and that's the flow based. But the fact is, we need to identify the surplus and what can be done with that in the future. Just so it's not a surprise to anybody, the TED TIF was kind of a surprise to everyone yesterday in the last week, that will be the condition for the canyon. So it kind of changes things around sequentially for us. And great agenda item without going any deeper on it, but that'd be a great agenda item. Also talking about, I think we need to look at Firelight now. And the key for that is to identify expectations on their side and capabilities on the district side. And some of those expenses are really just kind of being shell gamed all around. Some of the ratios we need to confirm, I mean, for disposal, is it truly an 8 to 10 to 1 for disposal? Is it truly that? We need to confirm that so that we know what the benefits to the district are. Sure, we'd like to avoid building more ponds, but two great topics that will dovetail, and they may even trigger a committee. So we'll talk about them. Maybe.
Some of
I
our
thought we were
takeaways,
No, we're retiring a bunch, but I think we're activating a few.
some of our takeaways from yesterday meetings had the important financial inflow, so I think that all will take into what you're looking for to discuss here.
Yeah, it's moving all the time. These are moving targets. So, okay. Anything from Mace? Any recaps? These are great because we're in these subcommittee meetings and then we're just kind of floating along. Anything else that the board has questions on some of these? Okay. You checked in with Harlan.
I did.
We're gonna,
I checked in with her. I might call her.
why don't you give her a call?
Yeah.
By the way, it's still 8:41, so. you know,
Got it, yeah.
we're in good shape. Talk to us about, water. Let's talk about water. This irrigation year, I mean, we can just a little bit of filler. I truly believe we're, at least from my point, personally, we're at least 3 weeks ahead of needing to irrigate right now. I mean, it's amazing how quickly things dried out. How are we looking on water? I know the ponds are amazingly low, so from the reuse perspective, but talk about water.
You're exactly right, 3 weeks. We turned the UV station on in 3 weeks.
What's that?
Or we've turned that UV station on for wells 4 and 5. Because we needed the extra water
It feels
last year.
it feels 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
You sent him that email so he could say 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I get my hand on the pulse here. I drive by the ponds too.
Yeah, it's noticeably drier, as you can see.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, to be honest.
Yeah, you're gonna see high use. You're seeing a lot of people have irrigation systems on them.
Last May, we were at 131% with like the average precipitation, and this year we're at 83.
Wow,
Big difference.
that's a big turn.
Yeah.
And I'll go right into pond wise. I can't remember the ponds ever looking this low.
Well, it's because Adam did a really good job at the last year.
Yeah, a big piece of that was we needed to do some repair work, inspection work in pond one, so I think got really low last year and I'm seeing the effect of that now.
Okay.
We did pressurizing out of the golf course about 3.5 weeks earlier than we did last year, so jives with that sentiment.
So we get the 3 weeks. Here's the big number. If the ponds are that low and the golf course is 3 weeks ahead of irrigation levels, you might be looking at those ponds, might be looking at the middle fork for which you like.
It's definitely a tool we have in our pocket. My model's showing that we're gonna be just fine on water.
Great.
We're managing our resource well, and moving through the season.
We used the middle for July last year.
Mid-July, so about 8 million gallons.
Great. And that just maintains your permitting and so on.
Yeah.
So you have the tools to make this pan out, but it's a little bit of an anomaly this year with everything. I mean, we used to celebrate that the ponds weren't over the top at this time, and Memorial Day, you're not gonna have that problem. So
Definitely not.
all right. All right, any questions from online? Killing time.
I didn't get in touch with her, so I don't know if you guys want to go to
All right.
executive and come back to.
Rob, we wanted Harlan to be a, how would you like to do it then?
She needs to be here. Let's go into executive session and do it the way we were originally.
All right. Great. All right, well, we're gonna have to, motion to adjourn the regular.
No, you're not adjourning. No, thank you.
I thought it was the regular session we have. to-
No, you don't adjourn the regular session either. What you're doing is, so which item are we taking up? And I will tell you, if we take up the legal.
We're gonna
end of
take
it-
up legal right away.
Okay, I don't have those guys set up until 9. You guys are way too fast this morning. Stop drinking.
I
coffee.
can't take it.
Just stop, right?
Oh,
So
what are you talking about, Susan?
I would ask if you would go in, what you do is you have 2 closed items, right? And you can move them around on your agenda. One of them is the personnel matter of the going into the general manager's evaluation. So I would suggest that you move that up, and then if that's the one you're going to do next, then you talk about the general manager's. I'm sorry, I don't even have the agenda. You guys are too fast today. The general manager's annual review, and the general manager's annual review is a personnel matter. That privacy right is held by the general manager, and he has determined that he does not want his annual review done in public. And so you would close the meeting. I would like a motion that says you're going to close the meeting to discuss new business item, general manager annual review. And then you close that part of the meeting, kick the people off online, Ryan, Mace, and Gallatin River Task Force, if they don't log off. I don't like you to have to kick people off of Zoom, because once you kick them off, they can never log back on. So maybe somebody could take the time to call them and tell them to hang up.
They're doing it.
I think we covered that by the sequence. I do have to ask this technically. What's the difference between close and adjourn?
The meeting's adjourned, the meeting's done. You're closing this session.
So you're closing to the
So
public.
the board meeting is continuing, and what your public minutes will say. And we have to talk about what you do with Zoom, right? Because of that. What your public minutes will say is that the board closed the meeting to the public for new business item 7, general manager's annual review. And that the statute's in your agenda for that reason. So you do that, you have your discussion, your minutes will show you closed it, and then you will come back into session and talk about what you've done. And then we'll go to the legal end of it, and then there'll be different reasons for closing that, which I will walk you through the motion to close again. But the question I have you for Zoom is, do you have a way to stop recording?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, because some people don't have it set up. Okay, so after the motion to close to discuss the general managers, and I would appreciate it if you would do the GM's annual review first, only because all the attorneys were planning to set up at 9, so they're not gonna log on till what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the Boyne attorneys on a Teams meeting so that your attorneys can leave the Zoom meeting with the board and go to the Teams meeting to talk to the Boyne attorneys. And then we'll come back to the Zoom meeting if we need to. So just that's on the legal end of it. Dick's laughing. I could see you, Dick. I want you to know that.
You got it all straight, Susan.
Did I really have a chance of getting this right at any point in time?
Absolutely, because what you're going to do is entertain a motion to close the meeting for purposes of the general manager's annual review. And so somebody can say so moved, and there could be a second, and then I'll keep the minutes.
Susan, one step at a time. Let's take baby steps here. Mike Wilcynski made a motion for that. How about Dick, Mr. Smiles over there? Okay, so
Before we vote, can I make a comment? Can we get Johnny's done in 10 minutes? Because if we can't, I don't like the idea of having a bunch of attorneys on the clock waiting for us to finish.
I think when we get it.
So, as long as we can commit to that, I'm good with it.
We got 12 out, it's a lifetime.
There it is. 2 meetings.
okay, if we keep talking, we're dead. Okay, so we've got that. Michael, you gotta get out of here. You guys are gone. Adios.
I suppose we'll
And you in the
find
corner.
a nicer way to ask the public to leave.
Michael, good to see you. Get a cup of coffee on your way out.
We'll be back at what time? Yeah.
Unless you want to come back with Harlem, just. Okay, so we are officially closing the closed, is that?
No, yes, you're ending the closed portion with regard to the general manager's annual review.
Okay, that's what we just did.
Yeah,
One second.
Close for legal.
no, well, you gotta make a motion to.
I don't know the differences of ending the closed to closing the closed, but that's okay. It's, as long as we're doing it the right way.
Pretty sure.
They did. Harlan's here.
Okay. All right.
Well, wait a minute, now we're waiting just for efficiency, this is all efficiency. Susan, you still don't have Crowley or Rockaway, correct?
I do not, but
Okay.
I'll get them, but you can go ahead, we can start
No.
with I can explain what you're doing and walk you through the motion, right?
I think
So-
you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna squeeze in Shrops.
You want to do that now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Harlan's here. Okay.
Okay. We don't have to end we don't have to do anything right now, correct? We can just go with the recognition.
Yep.
Call it.
Perfect. Yes.
You're on, Shropp.
So Susan, don't correct me in any way, shape or form. I'm waiting it from here. Unless you have a cheat sheet in front of me, I'm on my own.
Unless it's going to prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Live your own life, Brian, live your own life.
Okay.
Yes,
And thank you for coming right back over. We never get this fast going.
2 bites of breakfast and then.
I hope it's not getting close to there. But it's for a good cause because, Dick, you start prepping because you two go back a lot longer than I do. But most importantly, it's a big thank you day to say thanks for your patience and your contributions over, what was it, 23 years, 22?
21.
I would like to find out when I start.
Oh, we have that date.
Do we?
I do, I don't have it in front of me.
No, that ain't, we're gonna have that date.
But I just want to take a moment to just honor you. You've been a source of insight, experience, and dedication to our district, Bill. Over 21 years, I'll get you the specific date. Bill has served on the Big State Water and Sewer Board with thoughtful leadership. Your fingerprints are on many important projects that have shaped our district, commissioning the SBR, testing wells 5 and 6, and the very exciting, not so glamorous, but incredibly important reviewing all of our financials. So we just wanted to hand you this. So even though you're stepping down in your seat, we would love to present you with this plaque and give you the title of Board Member Emeritus. A title that reflects both our gratitude and our ongoing respect for your wisdom and your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Harlan remembered this, but we were having, I shouldn't say we, the board was having a tough time finding an additional board member, so they'd have a quorum. And who was it? Dee?
Yeah, Dee Rush.
Yeah.
I mentioned to Dee used to help me with my house, and I said, Shrop's kind of interested in going on the water and sewer board. She said, be at the city county building at 3 o'clock on Thursday. There will be papers. So, what year was that?
I have enjoyed serving
2001.
and with all of the boards that I have worked. I think this is a very substantial
Oh, there we go.
board and relative to our responsibilities here and personal as well. I've enjoyed working with every one of you. I've never, ever seen a board be as well discovered. I mean, we've never had a real bad argument. We've always tried to bring people involved in and let them make their shots. And I am sure that it will continue that way. So thank you. I've enjoyed it. I wish your success as we move along. So thank you.
Thank you. And Shrop, I would like to say how much I appreciated your financial insight into Terry's numerous tables. Which I try and wade through, but I could always be confident you'd looked at them. And if they were good with you, they were good with me.
Thank you.
November.
Thank you for your patience, Shroud.
2001.
Appreciate your patience over the years.
So
I learned a lot from you. I
Your
really have.
leadership is very important.
Thanks. I learned a lot from you and your diplomacy through the years. You and Les as a combination, you were polar opposite. You were a great teacher, and Les was a great teacher, but I always felt comfortable going to you with anything. So thank you.
So Amy has a date.
Yeah, November 6th, 2001.
November 6th.
Holy cow.
2001, so Marty's almost 20.
That's getting close to my birthday.
Wow.
Almost 24 years.
Well, we sure hope to see you both around. And Harlan, we hope to see you both around the community.
I will be around.
Yeah, that would be great.
Come to my house today, I'll be pulling down the lights.
I know that drill.
Okay, well, thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Have a great summer.
Same to you. All right, I'll come back for you.
Okay,
When
thank
we're
you.
done.
All right, do you know when?
Oh, you'll have to call me.
We'll call.
I got it. Okay.
Okay, Susan?
Almost.
Okay.
Mute?
No, can't hear you.
She's on mute, but we can't hear.
Can't hear you.
That one.
There
Okay,
you go.
now can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, this is gonna be fun. I'm doing what none of us do well. So we've got the other group. John Roushway should be logging in. Can somebody check to see if he is?
I don't have anything yet.
Okay, he was gonna go to the website and log in. This item is this is going to be a closed session because we're going to discuss multiple litigations. We're gonna discuss the Cottonwood Environmental Law versus Edwards, the district in Boyne. And we're gonna discuss the Cottonwood Environmental Law versus Edwards, which is the RICO case. And we're gonna discuss the Cottonwood Law versus, I think that's the second one. The district court case, and then the Cottonwood Law versus Cross Harbor et al. And so for the purposes of that, you are allowed under Montana law to close your public meeting if you make a finding that the discussion of the litigation would be detrimental to the district's position in the litigation. And so I am asking you to close that meeting because I want to be able to discuss with you, with John Roushway, who is also one of your attorneys, the pros and cons and the status of those cases. And we believe that it would be detrimental to the district's positions in the litigation to have that recorded in the public record. So if someone would make a motion to close, making that finding that it would be detrimental, then I will keep the minutes in my file.
I'll make a motion to close the second session.
Okay. Motion second. All in favor? Opposed?
Okay.
So now we're back in public meeting. Anybody want to read this motion? Pass it along, do whatever.
I move to approve the general manager's annual review and to modify general manager's salary and benefits as agreed upon during the closed portion of the meeting. Further move to authorize the board president to execute the agreement on behalf of the board.
Okay, that's the motion from Peter. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, Shropshire, that's so appropriate. You're seconding the motion. Any other discussion?
I would add to the motion, the paragraph with
The commitment to the district's vision.
managers rationale and the commitment.
Okay, are you okay amending the motion
Yes,
to that?
yep, and I agree with Dick. I believe that the purpose behind the motion is important to be understood by the district staff.
You okay with that, Shrop?
Yeah.
It's explaining the vision. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously, and I think it's great you made the last second of your tenure. So, thank you.
And I think regular meeting, we have July 15th. I think that is modified.
Yeah, that's been changed to
The 21st. Thank you all for making that.
It's gonna be, and it's a Monday.
Yeah, Monday. The Monday.
It's a Monday.
Sheriff, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm over with adjourn.